I'm Dave Friedman. That's Rusty Wright. He's the head coach of the Chattanooga Mocs. You have a difficult schedule and a roster that is hard to remember from last year translating to this year. So give us a feel for your program and your team and what we'll see in a month.
Well, for sure, it's a different roster than last year. I think this is a lot like my first year. Unfortunately, we've turned over probably 48, 50 guys in the last year. So, we got to go get us figured out a little bit here in the next month or so, because I think 26 of them weren't with us in the spring. So we're going to go figure out, who's who and who's doing what for us come into August when we get ready to play. But the one thing that's been really good about the group we've had since January and the ones we've added till now is they try like crazy. They're trying to do things right. We had a really good spring. We've had a good summer so far. And, the key for us this fall is we're going to have to execute at a high level compared to most folks, because I don't know if we're going to out-talent anybody, and we're going to have to play our ass off every Saturday. And that's as simple as it gets. We're going to have to go do the basic things better, and we're going to have to play our ass off every Saturday to go win.
There's nothing more basic than putting together a roster, recruiting. That's the foundation of it. But you lost so many guys. When you start recruiting, what are you looking for?
Well, we try to get as many high school kids as we can. I think that's still a basis and a foundation for us. We signed 20 high school kids this year. If I'd have known we were going to lose so many guys late, we'd have probably signed 25 or 30. And moving forward, we're going to do that and get it done that way and build it from the ground up and piece in things where we have to do it, at the end of the day. But, you try and recruit the best people you can that fit what you do. Sometimes you may get some guys that don't necessarily fit what you do, so you have to do what they can do to be successful. And I think that's one thing our coaches do a really good job of, is finding out what our kids are good at and maximizing those things and taking our weaknesses and working on them to try and help us out that way. So, I got really good coaches, and as long as this group does what we ask them to do, we'll have a chance to be okay.
B.J. Ragland returns on the offensive line. What are the other pieces coming back that you feel like can take a step and really be a piece?
Yeah, it's kind of like a couple of years ago for us before everybody heard the name, Sam Phillips, Nunu Watley. We have A.J. Little, we have Taylor Crumity, John McIntyre's a tight end that's played a lot of football for us. Justice Durant on the offensive side has played a lot of football for us. It'll all come down to who the quarterback's going to be, and what we decide to do there. But I think we have those pieces in place. Aiden Donald's a young man, plays offensive line for us, has been on the team for 3 years. So we've got some pieces there. They've got to grow, and it's time for them guys to go be the guys. That's kind of where we are right now.
Camden Orth from Bowling Green is one of the options at quarterback. Obviously, it's really early, but who else is in that room, and what will determine who starts the opener?
Well, you got Cam. Lucas Schomburg's played some football for us over the last couple of years, won a playoff game for us 2 years ago, so he knows how to play the game and do it. And it's going to be who takes that room over at the end of the day and gives us the best opportunity. Both of them are completely different players, which is fine. We've kind of got some things in mind for both of them, so we'll see how fall camp goes and kind of go from there, but not ready to say one or the other. Just somebody's got to go win it and go take it, and we'll see how it plays out.
When you look at the SoCon, what do you see from the league?
It's 1 through 9. Anybody can beat you on any Saturday. That's the thing. It doesn't matter where you go and who you're playing. There's no gimmies. There's no easy outs. You got to go be ready to play. Your team's got to be ready to play. It's got to be coached up. There's good coaches in our league. They get their kids ready and in the right spots and doing the right things. And if your guys aren't ready to go play, then you'll get beat. And that's the biggest thing. And we have to play everybody every Saturday. And when you do that over time, I don't know how long I've been in the league, 6, 7 years now, and Clay's been here, Chris has been here, Coach Bell's been here for that time, Sean's been here a couple of years now, Rocco, and so when you have a length of time of guys being in the league, it gets harder. It gets harder because you get to know them. You get to know what they like and how they like to do things and how their teams are prepared. So it's a lot more difficult than maybe one year not playing the top 3 teams in your league.
Yeah, and that does happen in other leagues where the schedule doesn't have a true round robin, so maybe you get a softer game, or maybe one year you have a much more difficult slate. But do you feel like that benefits the conference in the sense that it's fair, or it's too bad because it's harder to make the playoffs, it's harder to win every game?
Well, I think it benefits the conference because we do play good competition. What people don't truly understand, the national perception is so out of whack, you can't even discuss it. I mean, it's not even worth discussing anymore, especially after the last couple of years. I mean, we've had teams in our league the last couple of years that could go and win playoff games on the road and go play anybody anywhere. But that's the problem is I don't know how we get out of that circle right now, how we break that circle and get people understanding that we have – good football teams top to bottom, and the top 2 or 3 teams in our league can go play with anybody, and that's what we have to get to. And how you change that and how you change the national perception of the Southern Conference, I don't know. We've been saying it forever. I mean, it happened to us in 2013 when I was an assistant there, and it's just like anything else, man. It involves politics and money, and those are hard to overcome sometimes.
There will be those that say the way to change it is to win more non-conference games.
No question. That's part of it, too. That is. But you win 6 league games, you should have an opportunity to go to the playoffs. I mean, over a team that finishes 4-4 in 4th place in a league. There's no question in my mind about that. And, I mean, we're talking about adding the Ivy League now, and they're only going to play, 10 games total. So, I mean, come on, what are we doing? The rest of us haven't played 12. They're only going to play 10, but they're going to take an automatic bid too. There's just a lot of that on, again, politics and money are involved. I'm not involved in any of those things.
When you look at your team, do you have a feel for what could be a strength right now?
Yeah, I think we're going to be. I think we have an opportunity to be pretty good up front on the offensive line. I think those guys coming back give us a chance. We've had a couple of pieces. We got a couple of young guys that have really stepped up and done some things. I think even on the back end defensively, even though we lost some guys, I think we have a chance to be a little more athletic. We're a little longer than we have been in those spots in the last couple of years. So those 2 areas for sure, and then. We kind of changed what the dynamics of the wide receiver room looked. We got a little bigger than what we have been. So, seeing how those guys adapt and do things for us will be interesting. But I think those first 2 I said will be the biggest thing. And then how well we play together defensively. That's something, we've kind of always hung our hat on is playing good defense and doing that and seeing how many, first-time starters we have over there play well and play together and see what we can come up there.
You've brought in via the portal some guys who have established themselves at this level. Are those guys that you feel like are kind of plug and play because they've already done it?
A little bit, but again, I'm one of those guys. I have a hard time watching somebody somewhere else until they step on the field for us and see how they interact and act and play when we're asking them to go play under the lights. It's funny. You bring these guys in from other FCS or FBS places, and they're like, Coach, it wasn't like this where I was at the last time. It's a little harder than what we did, and those kind of things. So it's interesting, but you have to kind of get a feel for everyone. And that's every football team every year. Everyone's different. Each one of them are different individually. But there's some of them that have played a lot of football at the FCS level, and, I'm excited to watch them go play for us, and this day and age we're – doing things a little differently. I think we're going to have senior day, first home game, and all that kind of stuff. And, just keep changing things up till we get it figured out.
You played in the SoCon at Chattanooga, and you've coached in the league a long time. You're very familiar with it. How has the league evolved?
Well, for one, it went from 2 backs, 3 backs to running it right down your throat to, now it's a little more open. It's kind of changed with the times that way. I think the coaching in the league has gotten a lot better over the years. And now there were some really good coaches. Don't get me wrong. When Coach Moore was at App, and and all those coaches that have been at Furman and some other places. But I think overall, top to bottom, when I say coaching, I mean the football teams as a whole, from strength training to, academics to everything we're doing for these young people. I think that's the one thing that has evolved. Our league has evolved to make the day-to-day as good as we can for these young people to be successful. And I think that's what you see when you see our football teams play. People have made an investment instead of just saying, hey, we got football.
Does the fact that your athletic department, you guys have won 7 games or more 3 years in a row, women's basketball has been good for a long time, men's basketball is coming off the NIT, does that help your program?
Sure it does, because I think, that's what our guys expect to do. I think they understand there's a standard that we have to continue to try and fight for and get to, and you always want to be on that side of the ledger no matter what. Maybe it's nowhere near as many as we want, but at least you're moving in the right direction and you keep things moving that way. Unfortunately, times change, and you get thrown issues and situations where you got to go figure it out, and one year may look different than the other, but that's just part of it. We have to figure it out and see how it goes from there. But there's no doubt all that plays a part in it, as us as a whole.
Give us a few keys to the year, whether it be something you need to do with turnovers or something you have to do with a certain player setting up or a position group, or what will define the season?
Well, the first month's hard. For us, it's hard out the gate. I think how that first month goes for us is going to say a lot. What we look like, and again, that's part of it, is I'm not sure what we're going to be as a whole, but I think finding out what we are that first month as we lead into conference play is going to be huge for us. Again, the biggest thing for this group, I think they will give us everything they have to try and be good, but we're going to have to execute at a much higher level than we have in the past with these guys. We don't have there's no Devonshea Maxwell's or McClendon Curtis or Cole Stranges on this football team. There's a bunch of hardworking dudes that are pretty good football players, I think. I just don't know how good they are yet. But they're going to have to execute everything we do at a high level. And, again, we are going to have to play like our hair's on fire every Saturday to have a chance. This group's going to have to play their ass off, and they've been hearing that since the end of March for us to go have an opportunity to be good.
Coach, best of luck. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you.